So at this moment in time, I have the unique and somewhat rare opportunity to own two nearly identical Gibson Flying Vs. And I thought I would take this chance to talk about both of them. One of them is from 2011, one of them is from 2004. I'm not going to keep both of them because having two of the almost identical guitars is just a little bit out of the realm of possibility for me right now. But I'm not going to tell you which one I am keeping. I'm going to let you decide which one you might keep, and you can leave that in the comments, or you can guess which one I'm going to keep. But yeah, I just figured we'd take a look at both of them, see if there's really any differences, because they're basically the same model, just from 7 years apart. And let's compare them a little bit and see what happens. So we'll start with the oldest one. This one's from 2004. These are both I guess it's classic white that I think they call it, but I'm not 100% certain what the official name for the color is, but I know that the Flying Vs and Explorers, they do now, they call it classic white. These are the ebony board versions. This is definitely ebony right here. As far as I know from my little bit of research that I did, at some point in the late 90s, they started doing these white Vs and Explorers with ebony fretboards. And then in 2003, apparently they changed the name to Flying V Factor X or Flying V X Factor. I don't really know which one, but I guess it was just part of the 2000s trying to rename stuff with cool X's and Z's and stuff like that. But they're apparently the same exact thing as they were before and after the Factor X name. Apparently it lasted until about 2008, and then they just changed it back to 67 reissue or 68 reissue. So you kind of see it all over the place as far as the official name and whatnot, but you can definitely tell that this is an ebony fretboard. It's pretty light. I actually didn't realize that Flying Vs were this light. I expected them to be a lot heavier from just being a big old chunk of mahogany. But yeah, you got white on the back of the neck with the Clouson style tuners, that big white truss rod cover with the gold Gibson. This one on the 04, it says Made in USA up at the top of the V, and then in between the tuners, it's got the serial number. Somebody added a second strap button on the back of the body rather than using, I think this is the factory one back here. You kind of have to watch at all times where the corners of this guitar are. Got the triangle knob configuration, so I'm pretty sure it's bridge volume closest to you, and then neck volume back here, and then tone right here. There's the switch on this one. It's reversed. I guess somebody must have opened it up. Maybe the switch was replaced or something. And it's reversed, so in the position you'd think it would be the neck position, it's using the bridge pickup, and then vice versa. Despite it being really light, it still feels like a really good just chunk of mahogany. It's pretty thick, and it feels really good to play. I have 9s on both of these right now because I'm in a phase of using 9s. I don't know why. I used to swear by 10s, but I've been using 9s recently. It feels really good. I mean, it's really nice having a guitar that can just sit like this and the neck is just right here in your shreddable position. This thing being almost a 20-year-old guitar, there's not much going on with the finish. There's a little bit of stuff right here, but there's no checking or anything. This looks pretty accurate to what the guitar, the older pictures, the color was, so it hasn't yellowed out too much. But yeah, we'll take some sound samples in a minute and see how it sounds. I've opened it up. I'm not totally sure what pickups off the top of my head are in it, but I'll look it up and see, because I did take off the pick guard and everything a couple of weeks ago and look inside. But all the hardware is super clean on this one. It was pretty pristine, but you can definitely tell this is an ebony fretboard, not only because it's black, but also there's not a lot of grain, open pores in here. So yeah, we'll take some sound samples of this one, but let's also talk about the one from 2011. Okay, so this is the one that's from 2011, and in between shooting these little clips, I actually looked back at my emails because I had emailed Gibson and reached out about this one, just looking for some basic information from Gibson about it, and I gave them the serial number and all that. They said that this is the 1968 reissue of the Flying V. It was their standard Flying V model at the time in 2011. And he did say it was classic white, so I got the color name right. And he said, I believe this one was $496 and 500 pickups, so 496R, 500T pickups in this one. This one, the serial, the way they're stamping Made in USA changes a little bit. Instead of having Made in USA up here, now it's to the right of the serial number down here, and it says the year 2011. Same tuners. This one feels just the tiniest bit lighter, but I don't have like a precise scale to check that. And as far as body thickness goes, I'm pretty sure it's about the same. But it just in my hands, it just feels a tiny bit lighter. But this one being ebony on the fretboard, I couldn't tell you if it's ebony or if it's just a really, really dark slab of rosewood, because the grain on it is a lot more open pore. It looks like rosewood the way the grain kind of, just the pores on the grain are. It's not as like smooth as that one is, the 2004 one. So, but everything else, I mean, is pretty much the same. This one was in more heavily used condition when I bought it. There's also black strap buttons. I'm assuming that that's not factory. I'm assuming it's a third-party thing, considering that everything else on this is chrome. But the neck joint looks the same. The kind of way it transitions into the headstock feels the same. The necks feel pretty much the same. But I'll try to get some tools out and measure everything and see if I can find any differences. But for now, we'll take a listen to the demos. Alright, so both of these guitars basically feel exactly the same to play. I looked up some specs and they do seem consistent with nut width and neck shape and everything. 12-inch radius as far as I could tell on both of them. 1 and 11/16 inches nut width. The neck joins are exactly the same. Where the neck meets the body is exactly the same, it appears to be. They both do have the 496R and 500T pickups in them, which is a bit interesting because in the sound test, at least to my ears, I don't know if this is going to come through, but the 04, the bridge pickup was a little bit lower output and it was a little honkier, and I don't really know why that is because they're obviously the same pickup. Could have something to do with the height, but they look set up about the same. I know on the 04, the tape that's around the coils on the pickup looks more like a satinish black masking tape, whereas on the 11 it looks like an electrical tape. But I don't know if that plays a difference, if those pickups changed at all between the 2 years. But they say they have the same pickups in them, but I just felt like there was a little bit of a sound difference, which can obviously be due to setup, but you never know. Other than that, they pretty much seem to be the exact same guitar. Weight-wise, if there's any difference, it's very, very small. The only thing besides that is the visual appearance of them. Obviously, they're both the same exact finish, classic white, as Gibson calls it. But you can tell, at least I hope you can tell on the camera, I can definitely tell. The 04 is more of a yellowish, creamish white with a really, really stark white pickguard. This white from the 2011 definitely has more of a bluish green hue to it, and the pickguard is more tan, more of a beige colored pickguard. So I don't know if that's the way they aged or if Gibson changed something in the lacquer between the two periods, but I don't know. I just know that I honestly can definitely tell a difference just looking at them, which one is which, even though they're supposed to be the same finish and everything like that. But otherwise, I would still guess that this fretboard is ebony, I suppose. I really don't know though. It's supposed to be, as far as I can tell, but yeah, the 12-inch radius feels great. Fret size and everything like that feels the same. The tuners both seem like they're the same quality. So other than the slight visual differences between the two, I think they're basically at the core the exact same thing. The cases too, I have a little B-roll where I'll show you the cases, because the 11 comes with the white interior, black exterior, whereas this one is black on black, black exterior, black interior, and the 04 has one of the blankets as well, the classic blankets to cover the guitar in the case. I don't know when exactly they switched this over, but this is the 2011 over here with the white interior, and then the 04 with the black interior and the blanket. So at some point between 04 and 11, they switched these over. My guess would be around 2009 maybe, or shoot, it'd have to be even earlier than that, I think. But I really like the white interior, but I also like the blanket that comes with the black one. It's pretty dope. I think that's just a pretty cool touch. The handle also varies. So this is the 04. It's more of like a leather strip like this. This is more of a plastic piece on the 2011. And then as far as the exterior goes, there's definitely a difference, but it's really small. So you can see the font changes, the texturing on it gets a little different, but all in all, I mean, it's basically the same exact case. That's just getting into the nerdy stuff. But anyway, we'll get back to the main points now. Let me know which one you preferred the sound of or the look of, which one you would keep, which one you think I'm going to keep, and maybe if one of these, whichever one I keep, makes an appearance in a future video, you'll know if you guessed the right one or if you decided that you would keep the same one that I'm going to keep. So be sure to let me know. I'll leave all the links to anything I used in the video in the description so you can find it easily. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments too. I'll try to answer them. But boom, 2 Gibson Flying Vs. What a day, bro. What a day. Boom.